Whenever I see someone your age talking politics, it's usually a Republican guy. I mean, that seems to be where all the energy and we know that the Democrats do have a problem with men.
Yes.
What are you going to do about that?
Well, I think, one, it's for us to acknowledge the fact that a lot of younger men, I think, agree with what Democrats are saying in terms of making sure that we're getting things cheaper, that nobody wants to pay incredibly high costs for their medical bills or their cost of care, right? Nobody wants to see, in my opinion, nobody wants to see members of Congress that are doing insider trading either. At least I certainly don't. And that goes for both Democrats and Republicans. And right now, what I think happened last election is younger men, they would rather vote for somebody who even if they don't completely agree with, they don't feel judged by, than somebody who they do agree with, that they feel like they have to walk on eggshells around constantly because they're going to be judged or ostracized or excommunicated. And what's interesting about this moment is it feels like the two parties in some senses have flipped, where, Republicans used to be the judgmental assholes in many ways. And since many Democrats, despite us, I would say for most of us coming from the right place of wanting to do the right thing, we've created a culture where we say, well, if you say the wrong thing, you're excommunicated. And that's just not how human beings work. Nobody is perfect, but ultimately what we have to do here is figure out how to bring people back in and work towards the bigger goal of advancing the future of this country and helping young people especially get by so that they're able to focus on their lives and, getting with a young woman or something like that, instead of how are they going to pay their rent, for example, or how are they working their two jobs. Young people should be able to focus on what young people should be focused on, which is how to get laid and how to go and have fun.
David Hogg for president, ladies and gentlemen.
As you saw from the intro, and happy Memorial Day prayers to everyone who serve or people who lost family members that serve. We thank you every day for the sacrifices that your family members or those close ones, your loved ones that served in the military has done for us and all our freedoms. And it's a constant reminder every day that our freedom is earned, not given. But I digress, guys. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Memorial Day. I wanted to get to this topic of Democratic donors and strategists are throwing $20 million on an initiative called Speaking with American Men. You don't need to spend $20 million to know what men have, what problems men have with the Democratic voters, right? All you have to do is look at videos, right? A lot of, like in the political space, a lot of young men talk politics, right? You see it. I know there's women too, I understand, but they're talking about men right now because Democrats realize they got mollywopped with this demographic that I am a part of. And they think meeting in luxury hotels and brainstorming on ways of how to support working class voters and young men that they're going to waste, not spend, waste $20 million. How? They say that they're going to try to buy advertisement in video games and amongst other things. No. It's hard to be fake with young men. And this is one of the things that David Hogg, he points out, like, oh, so, they just want to go out and get laid. That's not the only issue. Men have a problem with the culture itself. Like the culture that we're currently living in, this like emotional, very tone policing kind of culture that the left-wing kind of party has created. This is another reason why their messaging is tone deaf, right? Obama, oh, you got to support a sister. That's annoying, right? And he called it out. He described it perfectly. The Democrats coming across as preachy when realistically, Democrats have no moral code. It's only tribal politics. And they're saying, if you're not part of our tribe, you take a toe out of step, you're the right wing. And one of the things I want to highlight in this video is that you don't have to look very far to understand why men have a problem with the Democratic Party. Democrats, all you have to do, you don't need to spend, and I'm going to save you $20 million right here with this video. Dems, working out is right wing. Liking hot girls is right wing. Eating red meat is right wing. Have you ever seen the prototypical type of a liberal, right? It's a very effeminate looking dude. You can't tell if he's a man or a woman. Very skinny, like David Hogg, right? Vegetarian. And there's studies that's found out that vegetarian food have a lot of chemicals and stuff that's not actually good for you. Who would have thought? Try to artificially create flavor that's not true to the thing you're eating could cause health problems. Who knew? These vegan people, they don't look too healthy to me. I don't know. Dems today, we need to spend $20 million to understand why young men hate us. After you preach to us, after you demonize us, and this is something that I've been warning a long time about with Democrats. Far-right exception with fitness is going digital, right? Hot girls become the right's new obsession. right? How red meat became the red pill for the alt-right. Demonizing everything that men like. Men stereotypically like action movies. You go in there, you wokeify it. Mad Max is a prime example of that. I can't watch Hollywood movies anymore because Hollywood movies don't know how to make something entertaining for men anymore. I think the last thing was I forgot the one that was competing with Barbie. I forgot the name already. I didn't watch it either. But someone in the comment section will let me know. And this is the kind of thing that irritates men a lot. Double standards, right? I think this is the number one thing that irritates, because men of his word, we abide by a certain code of honor, right? Inherently, we expect that. How you say you present yourself in public, we expect you to present yourself that same way in private. And this is some of the biggest flaws of the Democratic Party, especially when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion, is that they're saying they're for equality, but when men been highlighting how, hey, you've been giving women a lot of privilege, right? Google found out that they thought they were underpaying their women. They found out they were overpaying their women, and they had to fix the wealth gap between the Google male engineers and the women engineers because of this prejudice that they thought that women were getting paid less. They gave them more money compared to what they would give the male engineers because they thought that they were undercutting women, and they end up saying, hey, there was a pay discrepancy because of the study that the internal surveys and studies that Google did within their own corporations, right? When men start pointing this stuff out, you call an all black panel diverse, but you don't call an all white panel diverse. How can you square that? End of the day, as much as men don't like to be preached to, men hate for a particular part. They hate inconsistencies, and the Democratic Party is the very epitome of this. Don't believe me? Let's take a look at these clips.
Democrats have policy positions on everything, and many of them are, I think, preferable to Republican policy positions. Number one being they concede elections. That's kind of a big one with me. They listen to what courts say.
I don't know about that.
You don't think they listen to what courts say? I mean,
So Joe Biden
I mean, that's
ignored the court rulings twice on forgiving student loans and then tried to decree the Equal Rights Amendment.
That's true. That's true.
Lori Lightfoot said at a press conference, I'm not talking to white people. I don't like them. I'm not talking to them. I'm not answering any questions from white reporters.
We can follow up on the decision to grant black and brown journalists the one-on-ones on your 2-year anniversary. Are you implying that white reporters cannot do a fair job of covering you?
What it has to do about is the facts. And the facts is that when I look out at across this podium as I'm doing now, I don't see much in the way of diversity.
And no one did anything about it. That's the environment that produced Brandon Johnson, where you could just openly be racist. I don't like Jews. I don't like whites. I don't like blacks. Who talks like that?
Well, Tucker, every university administrator in the United States, even in the face of the Students for Fair Admissions case at Harvard. So that's another project that we're dealing with at the Civil Rights Division, is the absolute extent of the impunity with which campus administrators are continuing to discriminate and openly defy Supreme Court precedents.
Shout out to John. Here's a commenter on a tweet. This tweet I think I resonate a lot with, and I think these 3 points are very valid. The universal code to connect to men. Don't be a douche. Say what you mean what you say, right? Hey, no one's above the law. Joe Biden said that, right? What happened? Pardon his son. What happened? Don't hold Democrats accountable. Hey, be willing to take as much as you dish. Okay, you want to call people sexist and racist? All right, don't get mad when we call your candidate sexist and racist. Oh, look how racist your party is. Lightfoot don't want to take interviews with white reporters. Look at this racist bigot over here. Too male, too male, too pale, too stale. I think Letitia James said that. What a racist and sexist statement she made. Be willing to take what you dish out. And this is something universal to men. Men hate inconsistencies. To me, I hate inconsistencies with, oh my God, bro, you don't even know. That's one of the reasons why I can't stand the Democratic Party, because they act like they're so much better than people, but they're just the same. All they do is these equivalencies. They say, okay, you call Trump a liar, but you're a liar too. You're a bigger liar than you claim he is. Trump exaggerates stuff. Trump makes claims that he can't really, back up, but those are claims. They're not necessarily lies. But you, Democrats, you outwardly lie. Craziness. But you need $20 million to figure that out. Make it make sense. This is another deflection of not wanting to look at themselves in the mirror. Desperate party, right? They we don't need men. The future is female. Remember those sexist statements that the Democratic Party was making? Now they lose power. Oh my God, we need to connect with male voters. We need to understand what they do, right? When Trump was going on Theo Von, all these other streamers trying to connect with the young Gen Z audience, Democrats laughed at that. They said, oh, that's not going to work. He needs to do proper interviews. 1 election later, oh my God, Kamala Harris should have went on those podcasts after the fact. But she ran a perfect campaign. Get out of my face. Democrats, what? Humble pie. Hey, 2025 has not been, hey, shout out to the Democratic voters, man. I know y'all going through it today. Y'all going through it. 2025 has not been a good year for you guys. Y'all keep bragging about, oh, Trump, no one voted for this. I voted for this. Oh, Trump's poll numbers are low. It's only at 40%. How about the Democratic poll? What about your party's poll numbers, Democrat? Oh, it's under 30%. Oh, Hakeem Jeffries only got a 25% approval rating. Lower, way lower than Trump. But you want to compare, but you want to keep talking about Trump. You finished getting mollywopped over the fact that you hid a corpse of a president called Joe Biden and you try to push him as a figurehead to gain power and to maintain power and control of the country. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. You people getting exposed in real time and y'all hate it. And this is one thing that when you show it, one thing I can say is when you show a guy something, as much as he don't want to believe it, he would be like, all right, yeah, you got me there. You got me there. Like with Bill Maher. Bill Maher was like, oh, Democrats, they follow court orders. Tim Pool brought an example. Hey, when the court said, hey, Joe Biden, you don't have the jurisdiction to forgive student loan debt, he still did it anyway. Bill Maher had to admit, oh, yeah, you're right about that. So you pretend that, oh, you're so much holier than now. You pretend you're so much better than the Republican Party, but you find out you're worse than the Republican Party in every objective measure. I'm being honest. When it comes to governance, budget deficits, and nothing gets better, you spend $20 billion to end homelessness and homelessness increase. For men, you should be fired for that. That's something you should be fired for. You ran on something. You say you was going to give a certain outcome, and you didn't give what you say you was going to produce. You deserve to lose your job. But Democrats keep failing upward, like Kamala Harris. You didn't maintain the border, but you get pushed as a top nominee as president of the United States, even though the American people, the immigration issue, which you failed on, is one of the top issues for the 2024 election, but she still won. She won the primaries for the Democratic Party. Did that sound smart to you? But Democrats don't want to look in the mirror. They want to sit there, point out Republicans, conservatives, call us sexist, racist for not voting for the first female president. When the first female president, when she was in charge of a border, that became the main issue in 2024, and then she comes out on The View and says that she won't do anything differently than Joe Biden, and then Democrats have a Pikachu face. She lost the election. Make it make sense. But I digress. I want to give you guys this reaction from Fox News about this news that broke out about Democrats willing to spend $20 million. Just give me the $20 million. I'll tell you everything you're doing wrong.
Puts it this way. The prospectus for one new $20 million effort obtained by the Times aims to reverse the erosion of Democratic support among young men, especially online. It is codenamed Sam Short for Speaking American Men, a strategic plan and promises an investment to study the syntax, language, and content, so incredible, the content that can gain attention and virality in these spaces. It recommends buying advertisement and video games, among other things. Above all, we must
Everything's
shift
a
from
show.
a moral.
Everything's a show with the Democratic Party, honestly, bro. Like, they just want to look like they're doing something. They don't want to actually do something. They don't want to actually do something substantive. They just want to look good, not actually do good. That don't work with men. The lip service stuff, it may work on female voters, emotional voters. Who knows? I don't know. A lot of women are liberals. A lot of women support the Democratic Party. So maybe this stuff works with them, but it don't really work for men. Actions speak louder than words. We don't care about your tone. We don't care about your morals. We're looking at the outcomes. We're looking at the results. When I look out and you say you're the party of the working class Democratic Party, and I look out, okay, 9 out of the 10 richest counties in the country vote Democrat. Oh, that's strange. But I thought you guys were part of the working class. Okay, when I go to Wall Street, 90% of hedge fund managers support Democrats. Oh, that's strange. Okay. Pharmaceutical companies that's been overcharging everybody. America. I just found out. America, we pay 2 times as much, 2 times more for the same prescription drugs as our European counterparts. Overwhelmingly donates to the Democratic Party. Oh, that's strange. But you're the party of the working class. Action speaks louder than words. You mad about Trump's tariffs? Who was the most outraged about Trump's tariffs? Was it the working class Americans? Was it the Americans that was under $100,000 a year? No. It was Wall Street. Who Wall Street supports? The Democratic Party. There was the one that was the most outraged about the tariffs. But Democrats pretend to be the party of the working class. Like I said, Democrats use the working class as a pawn for a political gain. And in the wealthy and elites, they say, hey, we decide the vision of the country for you. We decide what's best for you, working class American. Working class American, you shouldn't be able to decide what's best for yourself. As an individual, I am the #1 expert when it comes to what's best for me. If I'm a black man and I'm voting Republican, it's because I've deemed it the best choice for me. No white liberal, no liberal period, is going to sit there, wag their finger in my face and tell me with a moralizing tone that I'm voting against my best interest. One of the most ignorant statements a Democratic supporter, a Democratic voter can ever tell me as a black conservative. But I digress. Let's continue.
More moralizing tone, it urges. This is, I mean, how are you guys going to make this work? Maybe you should start by not trying to buy ads and everything and just going to talk with men, maybe?
Unlike Leah Thomas, I'm an actual woman. But here's the thing. You can't buy authenticity.
No.
And that's what Democrats are desperately trying to be authentic. And you can't buy it. You can't pay for it. You just have to be. And that's why President Trump.
That's why spending money and trying to create a new Joe Rogan for the left is not going to work. Many people, this is the funny part with the left. The left like to make these false equivalencies about how, right-wing media is popular because right-wingers are willing to pay for this stuff. Yes, but many people, right? Like, let's say all the biggest political content creators out there now, like me, they started just like me. I started with no subscribers, right? Now I'm at the time of me making this video, 5,500 subscribers, right? And I do this day in, day out. I'm very consistent for the most part because I'm passionate about this stuff. Because I actually believe this stuff, right? No, don't listen to those negative comments I get from black liberals who saying that I'm doing this to get on a right wing. If I was doing that, if that was my true motivations, I would have quit a long time ago because I've been doing this for 3 years and I only got 5,000 subscribers, right? Because it's a passion. Many people started out just like me, Tim Pools of the world, Black Conservative Perspectives of the world, right? The Harsh Twins. They start doing this stuff as a passion because they're passionate about this stuff, right? And then then the money came after. But the left wing, it seemed like they need the money up front. And this is why left wing actors or left wing political pundits, they come off across less authentic.
Connects so well with men. This is a guy who actually loves sports.
Right.
He grew up playing sports. He's always been all about sports. So and then also for the longest time, the Democrat Party and the left, they told men that they were toxic.
Right.
They pushed them down. They told them they were evil. And then now they're wondering why there's backlash. Right. Charlie, right?
Yeah.
Fox News just saved them $20 million.
Trump is.
There you go, Democrats. You just got saved $20 million. But they just love throwing money at shit. That's the most annoying part about it. Every Democratic solution. Look, that's why one of the reasons why I said I don't think I will ever vote Democrat in my life is that many of their solutions, it's not about making processes more efficient, tweaking, or making adjustments. It's always throw money at it. Always. That's always the bottom line. That's always Democrat's solution. And then you find out it enables and incentivizes more of the behavior that they're trying to fix. Make it make sense, like ending homelessness. You throw $24 billion, Democrats, at ending homelessness, and you increase homelessness. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Throw more money at the problem. Looking good instead of actually doing good. I digress.
He's never pretended to be anything
That's
else.
right.
And they sense it immediately. People sense it when you try to pretend to be something you're not.
Well, you had Tim Walz that couldn't shoot the gun. And I'm like, why did you go out there and do that? You wouldn't see the president. Now, to the president's credit, his sons, Don Jr. and Eric, are sportsman shooters.
Yeah.
But you didn't see the president going out there shooting, because he doesn't, that's not what he does. He goes to the fights. He loves the blood sports. He loves competition. And he's just being himself. Meanwhile, the Democrats are struggling just in.
It's so performative. That's my main thing with the Democratic Party. It's just it's such a performative party. Like, you saw the commercials, you saw the ads that Tim Walz was out here pushing, and you're like, yo, this guy's not relatable at all. At all. Like, it's baffling to me, honestly. But hey, let them waste $20 million. Let them create a new Joe Rogan that's unauthentic and uninteresting. They don't say anything controversial that will hurt the Democratic Party. Democrats hate criticism. They hate, especially when it's someone on their own side. That's why they get on Bill Maher's case sometimes when he starts criticizing the party. This is why you got a lot of these black liberals getting mad at Stephen A. Smith anytime he talks anything negative about the Democratic Party. Anytime a black man talks negative about the Democratic Party, you got these people out here saying it's both sides, it's both sides, it's both sides. But you look at the data, majority of black people vote for the Democratic Party, so it's not both sides. But you getting mad that I'm criticizing where the majority of black people tend to vote at. Because you got no answers for me. Y'all ain't got the answers. And then we go with Trump, who gives us something of what we want, and you mad. And y'all angry. I digress, bro. I honestly digress. I think you guys heard enough. I think it doesn't take $20 million to understand how the Democratic Party lost young men, right? The left had this. It's Memorial Day, right? I'll give this example. It's Memorial Day. Many left-wing people, they don't respect the military, right? They look down on the military. They look down on people who work in the military. That's the left. They pay lip service to it, but they look down on people who go to the military, right? It reminds me of the Jubilee episode that I did a reaction video to one time, where this guy was a military kid, a guy who went to the military, and this college, condescending, liberal college graduate was bragging about how she got all these degrees. She's so smart. She looked down on him and she said, and there's you going to military, looking down on the guy. And at the end, she found out the military guy had the highest IQ, one of the highest IQ in the group, and she was the lowest. Irony is so ironic, isn't it? The liberal woman who went to college degree, who have all these pieces of paper, she had one of the lowest IQs amongst the group. And the military kid had the highest one. And this is how liberals get. End of the day liberals, end of the day Democratic voters, you can deny reality, you can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of reality. And the consequences of reality has shown itself time and time again. And are you willing to open yourself up and actually understand where people are coming from, instead of sitting there trying to moralize to them how they're voting against their best interest because their skin color is different from the people you expect to vote for Trump? I digress. I let it go. Let me know your thoughts and perspective in the comment section below. I'll be interested to hear your thoughts, your perspective. Let me know your thoughts. I would like to hear what you guys are thinking about this topic. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It really does help me out in the algorithm. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Happy Memorial Day. Peace.